Hello. It's time for our next chapter in our book. This book sat on my bookshelf for a while, and I hadn't even opened it. I am so pleased that I've opened it and I've started reading it because this book has meant a lot to me, and I hope you're enjoying it. Today we're on chapter 13. We all are mothers. As it happens, I'm reading this on Mother's Day, by the way. It was the dog days of summer, and our oldest son, Robert, was in the throes of a romantic drama once again. I'd stopped by the house he shared with his girlfriend, a woman I dearly love, to drop off a baking dish they were borrowing. It didn't take long before I was sucked into the details of their ongoing dispute. They are truth tellers, incapable of holding back their feelings, yet understanding the value of counterweighing hard truths with kindness and humor. But both of them had unhealthy relationship patterns born of traumatic pasts. It seems drama was never more than a day away. Due to entanglements with the criminal justice system, both were saddled with the many requirements that keep people in their situation down rather than lifting them up. Our conversation turned to their kids, all from previous relationships, and I remembered Robert had been court-ordered to attend parenting classes along with anger management, mental health screening, substance abuse programming, probation, random drug testing, and other demands, many of which were entirely unrelated to his case, but I digress. I brought the required classes up quite casually, as is my way. The impulse to be nonchalant and positive surged through my amygdala, and I carefully crafted my case. When Robert starts parenting classes, you should go too, I told his girlfriend, making sure my face was bright and casual. I would totally do it if I had the chance. Being a mom's the hardest thing I've ever done. I need all the help I can get. She remained non-committal, and the conversation moved on. A few weeks later, their relationship came to an abrupt and irrevocable end. I'm still sad about it. The little we know about life for these society hates can be summarized as this: it's stressful for everyone. Relationships between two people straining just to survive are often tenuous, prone to breaking without warning. A month later, I got this text from Robert. Hey, Mom, I got us signed up for a parenting class. It starts next Tuesday. Insert record scratch. My casual comment about how I would totally take the class if I could had somehow lodged in Robert's long-term memory. And this is how I accidentally signed up for a 10-week court-ordered parenting class with my 22-year-old son. When we showed up together on the first night, I saw that the rest of the class consisted of young singles or couples. Each attendee is invited to bring a guest, so obviously most bring the person they co-parent with as opposed to, say, their actual parent. Most also had their young children in tow since there was a family meal, a craft time, along with separate programming for children. Close your eyes and try to imagine this scene where two teachers, both middle-aged white men, did their best to politely discern why Robert and I were there together. We didn't come close to fitting the couple mold, even though we were both grown adults and he towered over me by 6 feet 4 inches. But when Robert attempted to relieve some of the underlying tension by barking out, as is his customary maximum decibel level, "She's my mom!" I sensed the two of them still had more questions than answers. Nevertheless, we signed on all the lines, paid our dues, and spent the next 10 Tuesdays eating beans and hot dogs, making homemade Play-Doh and paper bag puppets, reading children's books together, playing Chutes and Ladders, and attending a carnival. Disclosure, I loved all of it. Since we adopted Robert when he was 19 years old, I had missed his entire childhood and then some. Getting a chance to reclaim lost time through some of these milestones, parenting moments, was special in a way I wasn't prepared for. It was also hilarious at times, and Robert did his best to weasel out of the activities every week. But it was clear to me that it filled a small place inside him, too. God redeems in the best, weirdest ways. After dinner, the adults filed into a classroom where we sat together week after week receiving instruction, watching cheesy videos set in the 80s, completing old school worksheets, and humbling ourselves in necessary ways. Going in, my hackles were raised. I remember how embarrassed and defensive I had been 15 years ago when I had to sit through an all-day driving school after one too many traffic tickets. This was on a whole new level. Most of our group had been deemed by the courts as people who were struggling with parenting. I could only imagine how that felt. So I prepared myself ahead of time to be outraged over the insensitivity of the instructors or the condescending atmosphere. I even planned to take notes in a small notebook and was ready to bang out an emotional expose if the situation warranted it. What I found instead was the surprise of true community, richly diverse and utterly unfussy. It didn't take long to discover who was shy, who was loud. I'm looking at you, Robert. Who was abusive, who was timid. Some stayed pretty checked out. Others of us began dropping small facts about our lives or stories and the kids we were raising. A young woman, exuberant without exception, came to class one evening with her thick black hair twisted into an elaborate crown on top of her head. Dum-dum suckers spaced evenly through the plaits of the braid that held it in place. She was a charming, comic Statue of Liberty there in our midst. When a classmate answered a question correctly, she would reach up, remove a sucker from her crown, and toss it to him or her. In an unexpected parade of court-appointed parenting classes, she was our clown, and our resident Kaiwanian rolled into one, throwing goodwill around by the fistful. My assumptions were destroyed as we sat together each week, students of parenting and life. There was no discussion of the mistakes that had led us there. Hang on. Happy Mother's Day!